we have to think about that the pressure is always changing. If they press here and the right back gets higher and this winger backs up, there's going to be a space somewhere else. So we can use simple passes to be able to find a player that is free, like the weak side 4 here, or like the 7. But again, the idea is to create this shape, to create advantages, but ultimately is to be able to play a ball behind the defenders. Remember, we want to score a goal. Okay, so we know we have an advantage in the middle. So let's go back to the 2 center mids being marked. If they're both marked, they both have to create space for a player to come help. So the first one is, can this player move out a little bit to create a lane, a passing lane, something that looks like this. At the same time, because he gets higher, what should he do? He can still cut, but he might be followed. But now when he cuts to a space that would open a lane. Now who can enter this space? The 7. He can come all the way in here as close as possible. Okay. Another thing that could happen is the 5 might mark him, or he might be in between. He has to decide between 2. So the 7 and the 9 have to be looking at each other's movements and be able to tell, okay, who's going, who's closer. Because the 9 could also go here, and he might stay here. Or the 9 might check, and the midfielder follows, and he's wide open. Okay, so we have to be able to identify the advantage. So now, let's bring this player back. And now we're going to be under the assumption that we found an advantage. Here. Same question again. Is there time and space on the ball? Are we at comfort? We are. He can get higher. So now, this creates a unique situation. Remember, the 7 comes in to create a numerical advantage. That's great. But he also comes in with the thinking of, can I pull this player back? Can I pull this player out of the back line? The same situation that happens on the right side, where the 9 can pull this player back, or pull this player out of the back line. He keeps this player back, because if he goes like this, now the space is on here. Same thing here. If he steps here, now the outside back is open. Okay, now lastly, the 9. The 9 can go into different spaces. Can he check to the ball? Yes, but we want somebody to occupy the center backs. We want somebody to be able to run behind here, or here, or here in a fadeaway, or a simple straight line, or a diagonal here. Because once we create this picture, remember we want to always have vertical thread. So if we have this picture from here, we can have the 7 run into it, the space it created. We can have the 9 running into the space it created. Or we can find a passing sequence where we find the 7, and then the 7 plays that wide to the 3. And then we have runners. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And then we can cross the ball like we've been training. What happens here is all these players will probably follow all the way inside the box. Right? It's not accurate, their positioning, but they will be inside the box. The midfielders will hopefully, I hope they do that, because they're a good team. And then we have to push our lines higher, tight on the outlets, inside, push the lines up so that we don't let him come out. And then a unique thing about this the left back here on the side is that he might pull the winger all the way down with him, which creates even more space. Okay? And now we're back to this picture. When we create this shape. Okay? So that is offense. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know about any of the parts, and then I'll be able to break it down even further. So now we're going to go into defense. Sometimes we are able to win the ball as soon as we lose it. In transition, we can press the ball, we can react to put pressure, we can react to cover, we can react to get back into our shape, our defensive shape, things like that. So in this one, if you notice, you already have like an offensive shape. So the 9 is here, the 3 was here, the 7 is in, the 9 is down, the 6s are in the middle, the 8 is wide. So we just lost the ball. And red was able to get into their offensive shape. Okay? If this happens, two things. If we are in zone 3 and we can get set, our press is going to look like this. We are set. Now, two things you notice. Look at the 9s. The left 9 is on the left. The 9 on the right, it became in the middle. And then 8 out wide. So now we're in a 4-3-3. Remember the 7 that was inside on offense? He already comes inside on offense, so it doesn't make sense. It's too much for him to go. But if we can get set, now the 7 is down, helping with the 5 and the 6. Now this is what we did in training today. The center backs gets open, the ball's played to this side. Let me get rid of this. The ball's played to the right. As the ball travels, in the middle, it's nobody's ball, really. It could be red if it takes a good touch, unless we do something about it. So as the ball travels, the 9 has to take this angle and make sure that he cuts this line so that he doesn't get split. Now the center mid will most likely support. The other 9 makes sure that he doesn't get it. Now, he could be in front of him like this, but it's important that you block the lane to the 5. You either mark him from behind, but if you're in front, you block the lane or close enough where he doesn't get it. Now, this is very important. Man in area, high enough where he can get enough, but low enough where if the ball goes here, he can get there. So the ball's played to the weak side 4. Remember, as the ball travels, he cuts the line and forces to the inside. This should force the defender to take a touch to the inside. If he passes the ball back, the egg can go. If the egg can't get there, or if he decides not to go, the 9 can go from this position and go as well. Who else can go? If he has the good smell for it, meaning he feels that he can put good pressure, go. But the 9 should only go if it's a back pass, like in a straight line, like almost a straight line. He should go. Now, the ball came here. Now, if you notice, in the middle, the 9 is marking the 5, the 7 is marking here, the 6 is marking him, and the 5 is covered. So if the ball goes in the middle, we have numbers in the middle, and we can win it there. Now, if the ball happens to go to the outside back, like this, two things can happen. Here's the first part. If the 6 can get there, he goes. He goes to put pressure on the ball. Don't get split. Don't let the ball go behind. He covers and picks up the man. He goes in. This 5 here might go support. No problem. The 9 stays with him. Men in area on the weak side. Close enough to help out here. Close enough to press here. Close enough to deal with this. Okay? That's one way of doing it. Another way is very aggressive. The 2 can go. But the 2 must first cut the line behind him and go here. Two things need to happen. The 4 needs to shift and pick up the man. Shift. Outside back all the way in. This is aggressive, so we need protection. This 6 is being occupied by him. So the 5 that is free now needs to support the back line and get closer to help if needed. Okay, and if this player moves, this is still the man, but at the same time, area versus man, the 8 can back press, the 9 can drop down and make sure that he deals with the 5, and the 9 connects. And that is our press. Okay, so now we're going to create a new slide. So now they were able to get out of it. They did a good job offensively. We needed to recover. We needed to lose some yards. We get back into our offensive shape. Now we're in zone 1. In zone 1, we don't want to defend like we defend in zone 3, okay, because the space behind us is more important. So now we need to create 2 lines of 4. Everybody recovers, everybody gets in their defensive shape, and we find a moment to press. Now, if this happens, the other team will obviously create their offensive shape because they forced us to do it. Maybe they did a good job on the ball. It happens, but just because they do that, it doesn't mean we're doing a bad job offensively. Now the left back gets higher. The center backs get into their offensive shape. But again, we're protecting the middle of the field. The most important thing here is pressure, cover, cover, and balance. Same thing in the back line. We'll talk about framing the goal and defending the box later on, but it should look something like this. That is it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to post this as soon as I can and share it with you guys. Please review them and ask questions. No, there's no bad questions for this. Thank you, guys.